Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to look at a song called Same God by Elevation Worship. This song is a little bit more intricate than I was expecting upon listening to it. When you hear it, it sounds very simple. Chord-wise and progression-wise and section-wise, all that stuff. It gets a little tricky in some spots, and we're gonna take it one section at a time. We're gonna break this thing down, and I'm gonna teach it to you so that you can learn it to perfection. If you're new to this channel, my name is Justin. I'm a worship leader, and I make videos just like this all the time, tutorials on worship songs, and then other worship ministry tip videos. So if that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing. I'll say normally what I do is, in addition to the tutorial, I'll do a section in the video towards the end where we talk about the song, scripture, things like that. I'm not going to do that in this video just simply because I think that this tutorial is going to take a little bit of time. And so I'm going to forego doing that and just focus solely on the tutorial. So let's just go ahead and dive in. So this song is in the key of D flat, and this is the third tutorial I've made this week, and every song this week has been in the key of D flat. The first song we did it C shape, cape bowing 1. The second song we did 6th fret and played G shape. So we're going to go back to our C shape, cape bowing 1, D flat, C shape, that's the same thing. Well, for us at least. And I think the reason why I want to do it in C is there are a few chords in here that it's going to be a little bit easier playing C shape. But if you feel more comfortable playing in G, by all means, capo 6 and play in G and follow along. Now, I do use the Nashville number system on this channel. However, I also put the corresponding chords below that, regardless of what key we're in. So if you're not familiar with the Nashville number system, this is a good way to get familiar with it. And so you'll see the numbers up top, but you'll also see the letters. And so I'll be saying like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and all that stuff. Just know that you'll see the chord below it. So go ahead and we're going to dive into the intro here. I'm gonna break it down. You'll see there's a couple of chords here in parentheses. The first bar is just the 1 chord, which is going to be C for us. Also, this is in 4/4. It's very slow, very mid-tempo song. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's the count. Right, so you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and strumming pattern 2. Probably just mostly down strums, just very light. Nothing too complicated. If you wanted to speed it up and do 8th note, like an 8th note rhythm, you could do something like that, just to give it more rhythm. That's totally your call though. But again, we'll have 1 bar of the 1, and then you'll see 2 chords in parentheses. They're going to split this bar. Now, I can't notate it in Final Cut Pro, but on my chart, I do have it notated. The 1 here at the end, it's a 4/1 chord, and then to our 1 chord. That 1 chord is going to get 3 beats, and the 4/1 before that is only going to get 1. So the count would be, and the reason why I wanted to play C shape is the 4/1 is a little bit easier to play. So it would be F over C. And all that I'm doing, I'm still playing my C chord here, but I'm putting my pinky on the 3rd fret D string. That's all that I'm doing. So there's that 4/1 chord. Right. So the count altogether is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 4/1 chord gets 1 beat. And then they just repeat the intro. So again, let me just play through the intro here for you and give you a sense of the count, how things are played here, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 4/1 chord, it comes in pretty quickly. It's very subtle. Verse number 1, we're going to see the same pattern here. The 1, 4/1 to the 1. We'll see that here, and they're going to repeat that. They'll do that phrase twice. And then the back half, or the end of the verse, they go to a 6 minor. 6 minor in the key of C is A minor. And then they go to a 4 chord, which is F. And both of those are, they both get a full bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So altogether, let me just play through the verse, and just know in my chart here, I've put it here, they repeat that verse. So I'm only going to play through it just once, just so you know, and for time's sake. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Repeat this. Here's our 6 minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be it for verse number 1. Well, they repeat it. They do that section twice. And then they're going to go into a vamp section. It's going to be the same thing as the intro, and that leads us into the chorus. Okay, so chorus number 1. What we're going to see here is you're going to have a total of 4 bars. I'm going to go ahead and throw the chords up here. Every other chord in this section, it only gets 1 beat. So you've got your 1 to a 5/7 chord. That 5/7 chord gets 1 beat. Similarly, you've got a 6 minor and a 5. That 5 only gets 1 beat. 4, 1/3, 1/3 gets 1 beat. And then the same thing with this last bar. So really not all that complicated. Just that's just the placement of these chords in their designated bars. In the designated measures of the song. So just as you're listening through it and you're wondering when those chord changes happen, that's when they happen. And in my chart, what I do to notate this is there's a dot underneath the chord that only gets that beat. And so, for instance, this 1 to 5/7, underneath the 5/7 in my chord chart, I've notated with a dot underneath it that gets 1 beat. So, and by the way, you can find this chart on my Patreon channel, which I'll link. It's in the description box and in the comments. Be sure to go check that out if you want to see this chart and follow along with me. And just hang out, subscribe, be a part of that community. Anyways, I'm just going to play through the chorus here and just give you a sense of how that goes. So again, very basic strums here just for the sake of this tutorial so you can hear me playing through each section. Also, the 5/7 chord is a G over B for us. And then additionally, there's a 1/3 chord, which is just C over E for us, where I'm leaving that top E string open. So let me play through the chorus here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it. And you'll hear that. You can hear that. Right? You hear those little. It's basically just a walk down going from the 1 to the 7 to the 6 to the 5 to the 4 to the 3, and then back up to the 4 and the 5. You can just call them walk down chords if you want to, and they just get that 1 beat. But they repeat that a second time. They just do that twice, and that's basically the chorus there. But just let me play through it one more time, and feel free to play with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, they're going to go back into the verse again. Verse 2, if you want to call it that. I don't have it labeled that way. I have it labeled that way on my chart, but there's no chords that I have. It just simply says verse 2, just to know like section to section where it goes from there. The chords are the exact same thing as verse number 1, and then they're going to go back into chorus number 1. And chorus number 1, this time they repeat it twice. So it's a pretty long chorus. It's a total of 16 bars. So basically that progression that we played, that we'll just call it the walk down progression for this video, because that's essentially what it is. They do the full walk down, they do it twice, and then they repeat it because they're repeating the chorus. So that's what they do there. And then they go to a turnaround. The turnaround is a little bit more simplified. You've got the 1, 6 minor, 4, and then you got a 4 to a 5, and that 4 and 5 split the bar evenly, so they both get 2 beats. And additionally, that you'll see that these other chords are not in parentheses. That's the full bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, very simple, very light. All right, moving into our bridge. The bridge, I've got it listed here just as bridge 1, and there's some different chords throughout this bridge, but I just listed it as bridge 1 just to keep it simple here. But what we're going to do, this first line, it's going to be the same thing as our turnaround. So you've got your 1, 6 minor, 4, and then 4, 5. And remember, that splits the bar evenly. After that, they're going to go to another section here. It's going to be the same thing, with the exception is they're going to throw a little 1/3 chord in there after that first 4 chord, and that 1/3 chord only gets 1 beat. So similar to what we've done in the past, it's kind of just like a passing chord. But they'll do that section 4 times, and then the last section, the last portion of the bridge, right as they're about to go back into the chorus, we're going to switch it up. We're going to start off on the 6 minor, so A minor, 5, which is G, and then the same thing, we'll go 4, 1/3, not 5, we go to 2 minor here. Now this is I can leave it, or I can take it or leave it on this chord. You can do the 2 minor. I feel like it just makes more sense to just go back to the 5, but because they do it, I went ahead and threw it in there. So I'll leave that up to your discretion. But that's basically the chorus, or the bridge. Now I'm going to go ahead and just play through the entirety of the bridge, so all 6 of those sections, all 6 of those lines, and yeah, just follow along. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 4. Same thing, just with the 1/3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Repeat that. 1, 2, 3. Repeat it. You might start to build here if you want to. Change up your strum pattern if you feel like it. And then to our last line, 6 minor, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the entire bridge right there. And then they're going to go into chorus number 1 again, and I want to say they only go through that once. After verse 2, we went through it twice. I believe this time they only go through it once because they've got some other sections that they're going to go through. But we'll go back to chorus number 1, and then we're going to go into chorus number 2. Chorus number 2 has a couple of fun parts here. The first line is going to be the exact same thing as what we've been doing in the chorus. We've got our 1, 5/7, 6 minor. And then from there, they're going to go to a 1/3 chord, and then a 1 chord to a 5/7 chord. Now, in my chart, you'll notice that there's some symbols around it. There's a less than sign above the 5/7. That just means it's pushed back an 1/8 note. So the count would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, right? So how that would sound would be... It's just that right there. Very simple. All you're doing is just like that. So 1/3 to the 1 to a pushed 5/7, and then we land on that 6 minor. So that's our new bar. To a 4. And then it just finishes out the same way that we've been doing. So really the only section is that little push chord there. And you hear that in the song. Ba, ba, da, da. And again, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So to get an idea of where that chord lands, you'll count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and And so it would be a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm sorry, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So the 5/7 chord hits on the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and, right? So it's once you get the hang of that, it's super simple. All right, so after chorus number 2, we're going to go into our very first instrumental. These chords are going to be the exact same thing as what we've been doing in the chorus, at least that first chorus. Just again, it's that walk down progression. Right, just that right there. Walk down and then like a little walk up. Oh geez. After that, we're going to go into instrumental number 2. So again, we're still in this instrumental kind of spontaneous phase. They're really just bringing it down here, and they're showing that with some chord changes. The chords here, I'm gonna thumb up here. It's the same thing as the bridge, or at least the first turnaround. The 1, and then 6 minor, and then 4, and 4, and 5. Nothing has changed there. They repeat that twice, and then they go into bridge number 2. Bridge number 2, that's the one where they're talking about the Savior, and then I think the next line is about the leper and feeling his touch right now. I can't remember the words specifically, but that's bridge number 2. Still, that's kind of a down bridge, and chords are the same thing as well. You're going to see that up here, 1, 6, 4, 4, and 5. And then after that, there's another instrumental section number 3, or turnaround 3, whatever you want to call it. Same thing, same chords, and they just repeat that. After that, this is the end of the song. We're going to go into our tag section. The first line is going to be the same thing as the verse. It's going to be 1, and then that 4/1 to 1. After that, we're going to go back to another bar of the 1. You'll see that up here. And then we've got a full bar of chords. Every one of these chords gets a beat. Now, it can be a little difficult to play. The keys and bass are definitely going to play this, but essentially it's a walk down. You've got a 4/6, 1/5, 4, and 1/3. Looking strictly at those bottom notes, 6, 5, 4, 3, right? It's just a little walk down right there. You can play that if you want. Feel free to not play it. You could play the 4. You could do that. So 4, 1, 4, 1/3, and then down to the 1. The 4/6 chord, what I'm doing, or how you could play that, is play your F chord, but then remove your ring finger, and there's your A, which is the 6 minor, so 4/6. 1/5, play a C with your pinky on the E string 3rd fret. Going from those two chords can be a little... It'll take a little bit of practice if that's something that you want to do. Don't feel like you have to, but just for the sake of knowing what the chords are, there you go. And then they repeat that section 2 times. And in the last section, there's kind of this retard at the end, and you've got 1 bar of the 1, and then does the same thing. And it just, you'll feel that slow down. It's almost as if like they cut the beat, the metronome, the click track off, and it kind of has this sense of like it completes on the 1, but like that 4 chord doesn't feel like it's on time. I would bet the click, either they cut it out or it slows down. So, but that's going to be what those chords are, and then that's it. That's going to be how you play Same God on acoustic guitar. Again, the chord chart is on my Patreon, and you can go subscribe there to get this and follow along with me. I hope this was helpful, and if there's any questions about it, if you have anything that was confusing or you'd like clarification on, please do not hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram. Comment down below, whatever I can do to help you learn this song to the best of your ability. And everything that you're going to need is down in the description box below. All the links, all that stuff is down there, and I also have timestamps. So if you're If this is your first time through it and you need to go back and rewatch certain sections or save this for later, put it on your planning center, whatever the case is, feel free to do that and then use the timestamps to come back to sections. That's all that I have, guys. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you got value out of this video, and don't forget to subscribe. I hope you guys have a great day or evening whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you in the next video.